Primordial screams ring out through the darkness. Stops pulling the saw and looks down at the woman. A stream of drool dribbles from her mouth. Wheezing noises rise from her throat. The remnants of her severed right arm twitch intermittently. Large amounts of blood continue to pour from the wound. Her nervous system must still be in shock from getting her right arm chopped off. A glimmer of recognition returns to her bloodshot, glazed eyes.
Stop, please. I'm begging you.
Grips the feebly breathing woman's head and slams it against the tabletop. Again and again. Again and again and again. Pounds her head down relentlessly. Again and again and again. The sharp crack of something breaking brings a sense of exhilaration and the beginnings of a smile. The woman had ceased moving. There's blood flowing out of her nose and mouth. Feels a sense of relief. Finally, there's some peace and quiet. Now, can focus on the work to be done. His right hand is covered with the woman's own blood and body fat. The fluids will prevent from putting enough power into the sawing motion. It'll take too much time to amputate the parts. Had picked the saw because using a knife to cut through the bone would take too long. The choice seems to have backfired, however. When the rough blade of the saw hits a nerve, it wakes up the woman's dying brain. The fat flowing from beneath the woman's skin is making it so the saw doesn't have any purchase on the bone. It just slides back and forth fruitlessly. Wipes dirty hands on the woman's red undershirt and swaps the saw for a hatchet. Takes a few practice swings to get reaccustomed to the hatchet. With this, it didn't even take 5 minutes to chop completely through the bone on the previous girl. Experimented by using the saw this time around, but it seems that the hatchet is far more efficient. Decides to start with the hatchet next time around. Nodding slightly, swings down the blade hard. The hatchet is swung again and again and again. The girl stops moving as the blade is brought down repeatedly. Seizes her head and sets it back upright, as it had flipped over during the chopping spree. Next up is... picks up an auger and carefully points it at her eyeball. Only 2 of these precious eyeballs can be collected from a single body. Failure is not an option. His fingernails prop open her eyelids. Her clouded eyeball is slowly exposed. Pushes the eyelids open even further. The tip of the auger is thrust into the space between the eyelids and eyeball. Sweat covers his forehead. This is delicate work. It requires mental concentration. After running the auger around her eye socket, the eyeball is completely exposed. It only remains connected to the brain via an optic nerve. All that's left now is to yank it out.
Morning in the Yukishiro. I head down the freezing hallway to the washroom. After washing my face in icy cold water, I return to my room.
Excuse me, Shugo-sama.
there's a frigid voice from behind me.
You received a telephone call from Ujaku-sama.
A call? That's rare. Phones have gotten cheaper over the years, but you could get 20 bowls of kakesoba for the amount of money it takes to buy a single phone.
She wishes for you to come to Ueno Park. Ujaku-sama says she'll be waiting for you at the Benten Shrine.
I wonder what she wants with me. She's always pretty busy. Alright, I got it. But Hatsune's been acting really stiff. Is she still mad about what happened last night? Hatsune, is there something you want to say to me? She puts on the sweetest smile and says,
Have a safe trip, Shigo-sama.
with a tone so frigid it makes today's weather seem warm in comparison. This is what I get, even after I explained everything to her yesterday, too. There's nobody in front of Ueno Station this early in the morning. The skies are clear, but the cold is pretty intense. I turn up the collar of my coat and rewrap my scarf. On my way to Ueno Park, I pass in front of a majestic brick building. It's Kaio Private Academy, the all-girls school Nana attends. Of course, since she spends all her time wandering around the city playing detective, she's not actually attending much lately. It's a deplorable state of affairs. A horse-drawn carriage coming down the opposite side of the road stops in front of the gates. Wow, they have something like that ready to shuttle around students? I suppose it's no surprise since the academy caters to the rich. Well then, as I stare expectantly at the carriage, wondering what kind of beautiful girl will step out.
Hey, what a coincidence.
The door to the carriage opens, and who else would it be but my family's delinquent daughter?
Morning, Shugo.
She doesn't look so great. Her face is pale too. What happened to you? Do you really not want to go to school that badly?
Well, I wonder.
Nana answers me vaguely and then surveys the school grounds.
It's been a while since I've come to school. Those crows are making quite a racket, eh?
Nana ponders after seeing the crows lined up on the roof of the church.
I wonder if something happened nearby, or perhaps...
She then proceeds to walk into campus at a brisk trot. Weird. I seldom see Nana like this. I try striking up a conversation with the nun who rode here in the carriage with her. Excuse me, I'm her older brother. Kaio Academy seems to be a Catholic institution. A lot of the faculty are members of the clergy. After I bow politely and thank her for taking care of my sister, she says,
The truth is, Nana-san was taken into custody by the Ueno police. I just went to pick her up.
Huh? Has she done something? I knew she'd become a nuisance to the police one day, but I didn't expect that day to come so soon.
No, she didn't commit any crimes, nothing of that sort. Apparently, she was up quite late drinking with the people in Aoi-machi.
So, in essence, she was partying all night long with the riffraff in the slums.
An officer on patrol spotted her early this morning. She was at a communal washing area on the street.
She probably just wanted to investigate the Ueno murders, but nonetheless, she's such an idiot. It's unbecoming behavior for a girl of her age. Her haggard state is probably due to the alcohol still in her system. This is so deplorable, it's giving me a headache. Even more so considering that the Ueno police will have contacted our family in Kyoto. I'm really sorry for troubling you. I apologize politely to the sister and leave. Something about this just doesn't feel right. As I walk along the footpath beside Shinobazu Pond, my eyes are drawn toward a building on the opposite shore. There's a tumultuous crowd gathered around the Benten Shrine, which is normally devoid of any foot traffic. Whoa, that's... There are officers standing guard, as well as a cordon made from white rope strung around the perimeter to prohibit civilians from entering. There's no doubt in my mind. Another murder happened. I wonder if Madame Mujaku's business with me has anything to do with this. At any rate, off to the Benten Shrine. There's a feeling of cold tension in the air.
Hey, you, no crossing me on the rope.
The officer's menacing warning echoes around the area, while the rubberneckers add their own commentary into the mix.
It's that murderer again, man.
They're saying the crime scene is an absolute mess. What in the hell happened over there?
The onlookers stifle their voices and whisper to each other. From what I can glean from the snippets floating over to me, the murder seems to be highly abnormal. The fifth victim of the Ueno serial dismemberment murders. It looks like our killer's found himself some fresh prey. Man, what's going on here? The entire area around the Benten Shrine has been sealed off due to the murder. It would have been possible for me to pass through while I was a cop, but right now I'm just an ordinary civilian. There's no easy way for me to get inside. While I'm standing behind the onlookers and trying to make up my mind, someone calls out to me from beyond the cordon line.
What are you doing here, Shugo?
Arishima-san. Thanks to Arishima-san, I'm able to cross over into the crime scene. The crows are going nuts. It feels like they're foreshadowing some ill omen.
Thanks for coming with me.
Why me, Arishima-san? I can feel the other detectives' curious stares being directed at me.
This one's a special case. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Come with me. It's over here.
Arishima-san seems much more grim than usual.
First off, why don't you have a look at it?
In front of us is a section concealed by a white curtain. You guys are being pretty thorough. I don't recall them ever sealing a place off in this manner during my 5 years on the force.
I had no choice. We can't reveal something like this to the public.
Arishima-san twists his lips into a grin. So it's the work of that crazed serial killer?
Well, there's a lot in common with his murders, but...
Crunch, crunch.
Honestly, I have no idea what to say. This one's gone beyond abnormal.
We advance forward slowly, the snow crunching underneath our feet.
A person was murdered, and they were chopped up, sure. But that's not all. There's something fundamentally twisted about this one.
As we pass through the boundary marked off by the curtain, a sweet stench suddenly assails my nostrils. It's a rotting corpse.
Come on, Shugo. In you go.
Arishima-san leads me through. And inside, I see it.
The severed limbs and head have not yet been found. The wings were artificially made. They were sewn directly onto the skin of her back. I'm not sure whether he was trying to imitate something or what. We haven't the slightest clue why he did this.
Arishima-san's business-like tone echoes somberly in the air. All I can do is stand there, transfixed by what I'm seeing. I can't believe this. It's profane, disgusting. Truly unforgivable act.
The name of the victim is Nakajima Ikuyo.
In spite of that, though?
Apparently she worked in the red light district under the name Otoha.
Her corpse is beautiful. Arishima-san's finished explaining the situation to me. I have no idea whether to feel anger, sadness, or frustration. It means this is what Madame Ujaku called me out here for. Though my brain's still half-dazed, I finally realized why I've been summoned.
You were able to immediately get an ID due to the tattoo on her breast.
Tattoo?
Yeah. She has a distinctive tattoo on her left breast, just above her heart. One of my detectives on the case just happens to be well acquainted with her.
Well acquainted? With a girl that worked in a place like she did? And at that moment...
Yeah, that's right. I was a regular of that dismembered slut over there.
A detective suddenly butts into our conversation. One look at him and I can already tell he's a pretentious bastard. This guy wasn't in the detective division when I was still working there.
Man, what a waste. She might not have been much of a woman, but she did have a great pussy on her. But hey, her skirt's open. Might as well take this opportunity to screw her one last time as a final farewell. Even I've never fucked a woman with no head before. Well, she was a crazy nympho, so she'll probably rejoice from beyond the grave.
The man then laughs at his own joke as if it's the funniest thing in the world. Human death doesn't affect him. I ran into guys like this from time to time during my stint in the army and my time as a detective, as I've had to deal with numerous human deaths. I've seen countless people like him. I know I should be used to guys like him. You know? Despite that, it's difficult for me to ignore this guy's attitude. You've been intimate with this girl before, right? Couldn't you be a little more respectful? The man's eyes fly open in surprise.
Huh? Oh, give me a break. Do I really have to shed tears over some slut?
You son of a bitch! For a split second, I lose myself to anger.
Just leave it at that, Detective Yaginuma. You cool it too, Shugo.
However, Arishima-san intercedes before I can get my fists swinging.
Anyway, what about that report?
Oh, right.
Upon hearing this, the skinny man, Yaginuma, puts on his business face and speaks again.
It just so happens that she lives nearby, so I was able to coax her into coming with us. What are you gonna do? At this point, our date is looking kinda weak, so hauling her in on that is...
You're right, but there's no way around it. Have her come down to the station as a suspect.
Okay, roger that.
Yaginuma heads over to the park entrance after throwing Arishima-san a casual salute.
Ah, right!
However, he stops after walking a short distance and turns around to face me.
You're Takashiro Shugo, right?
Yeah? He calls out to me.
I know all about you. You made a huge screw-up in that Mazerly case when you're back, right?
What about it? Yaginuma's eyes glimmer with contempt.
You seem to get very emotional about murders like this. A softy like you is a hindrance to the well-being of the general public. You were right to quit.
I hold myself in check and maintain my silence, Suddenly, Yaginuma stands at attention and salutes me.
Takashiro-senpai, I'll excuse myself now. Just kidding.
Yaginuma chuckles as he walks off.
Don't be offended, Shugo. Yaginuma was assigned to the detective division as your replacement. Since comparisons were inevitably drawn between you two, I guess he's overly conscious of you now.
He didn't seem like that sensitive of a guy, but...
Come on, don't be such a grouch. He's an excellent detective.
Excellent? You call a man who makes stupid jokes in front of a corpse excellent? I spit back at Arishima, but he just flashes me a wry smile.
Yaginuma's a man who can be logical about everything. He doesn't let his emotions get the better of him. He doesn't panic when he's stuck in a tight situation. He simply obeys orders without hesitation. A guy like him is invaluable, especially in this line of work.
I can see where Arishima-san's going with this. He's an ideal person to the organization. However, I'm different. That's impossible for me. I wouldn't be able to turn my heart into stone like that. After I deride myself, Arishima-san allows himself a rare chuckle.
You always were a hesitant one, Shugo. I really don't understand how you were able to function as a detective.
I'm at a loss for words. Arishima-san pats me on the shoulder in an effort to cheer me up.
But having doubts is a strength as well. I didn't disagree with the way you did things, Shugo.
He shrugs. Arishima-san. I then hear him mutter softly to himself with a self-derisive tone.
And if only I had that kind of strength.
Arishima-san tells me he's returning to the Ueno station for the time being to question the suspect.
The groundskeeper saw a suspicious person around here this morning.
So this person is a suspect in these murders?
At the moment, I can't say for sure. First of all, it's a young woman.
A woman?
You can't be harboring any preconceived ideas here, but judging from the corpse's condition, I don't know if a woman would have enough strength to do something like that.
Arishima-san leaves me with that and heads toward a car waiting at the entrance of the park. As I watch him leave, the opposite shore of Shinobazu Pond comes into view. That's... Standing next to a black car is Detective Yaginuma and... She's... the young lady with the dark eyes I saw in Aoimachi. Why on earth is she here? Need to ask around. Hey, you, excuse me. I address an officer patrolling nearby.
Sir, what is it?
He's mistaken me for a detective, probably because I was engaged in conversation with Arishima-san earlier. Well, that's convenient. That woman standing over there with Detective Yaginuma, who is she?
Sir, she's a suspect in question. They're going to take her over to the station for interrogation now.
So she's the suspect. I thank the officer and leave.
These are the omens of our impending destruction. Now is the only time for you to repent.
Her raspy voice echoes inside my head. A chill runs up my spine. What on earth's going on here? An image pops into my head of the seemingly unrelated countless bits and pieces of this case, all crawling around, trying to find connections to each other. The whole picture is still shrouded in darkness. In fact, things seem to be getting even more confusing and chaotic. Damn it all. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just lost in a sea of doubts.